be in this situation. This could have been avoided. It could have been totally avoided if everybody just would have worked together from day one. It would have been done right. Yes, I have other grievances, but I know in the time limit, it'd take me 5 hours to go over a grievance I have. Okay?
Right.
So when I say follow the rule of law, I mean in everything, not just in what I said, in everything, even anything that these gentlemen are.
Okay, so if we agree with what you said just now, this county board cannot, the way I understand it, that the assessment is the one who makes that decision, not us, to roll it forward. You can say no.
I'm not talking about rolling forward. Let's hold on, stop.
But
my issue right now is following the rule of law
Right,
and concerning the hiring of Mr. Becker.
Right.
I want to state for the record too, I have nothing personal against Mr. Becker whatsoever. He was hired to do a job. I kind of feel sorry for him, to be honest with you. He's in a real compromised position. And unfortunately, I feel bad for him.
But what I'm understanding though, if I said I agree with you and let's roll it back, there's nothing I can do as one person or 2 people or 5 people. If I'm correct, right?
Majority could.
Correct, but wait a
That's
minute.
not what we're
Mr. Sanders, let me just say this much. You didn't have to roll the taxes when you did. There was a rush to do it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You know you didn't. There was a way out.
What was our
How
way
many, raise your hand, how many board members came to me and said if there was a legal way to do this
Right.
and go back and do it right, you would do it? You said it to my face.
I said it.
I know you did.
I said
And I know
it.
you did.
And as soon as we,
Said it to you.
Brian said it, you said it, Travis said it,
And as soon
Mr.
as,
Metzger
as soon
said
as
it.
we thought we had that, what?
Go
As soon as
ahead.
we thought we had that, then we're told that we don't have the power to decide.
Who told you that?
Our legal counsel.
Our legal counsel.
Okay, I've got a phone text between you and the Department of Revenue that we can
Wait a
produce.
second, it wasn't no phone text, it was an email.
Okay, an email that was a screenshot off the phone.
Right.
I'm sorry. And I'm a little technical
If
challenge.
I'm texting.
But I'm just telling you, we went to the Department of Revenue, this whole thing could have been rolled back. Part of the problem here is, we don't have a dispute that you can divide the county into quadrants, that was never a dispute.
Oh, yeah.
No, wait a minute, don't talk for me, let me explain my position.
I talked to you, I mean, the 4
No,
quadrants were the
the
issue, I wasn't
quadrants,
against
the
that.
quadrants were not the issue, let me clarify. What the issue was, once you divided in quadrants, you should have assessed all 4 quadrants and then rolled the taxes,
Sure.
and then every 4 years, everybody would get reassessed. Instead, you picked Mattoon Township, and because you did that, and their assessments hadn't been done in 16 years, of no fault of us, the taxpayers,
Correct.
now what you've done is you violated the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution. We told you that. We tried to tell you, you can't do that. You even said in your letter that you guys wrote to our state senator and our state rep, Mr. Phillips and Mr. Ryder, that the Illinois Department of Revenue says in their book, and I read the book, that you can't have that. You can't do that. You can't have inequity in the taxation.
Oh.
So you've got people in Mattoon Township that are going to pay more than people in Lafayette Township for the same school district. How's that fair?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But getting back to the quadrants, if you would have just divided the quadrants, reassessed the whole county the way you should have done it, instead of picking on Mattoon Township. So now we're in this pickle, and you had a chance to roll it back, and you didn't. Mr. Metzger, you didn't. You had a chance to do it, you
But that's
didn't.
what I'm saying.
And so now-
We were told at that time, when we
You-
thought we had it, that we couldn't do it. Am I-
That's the problem, though. What
I
you're
mean,
told is maybe the wrong information.
A
I'm not an
potential
attorney.
solution, we discussed that.
We discussed all those
We
things.
were actually, we thought, great.
You're breaking federal law now. You're breaking federal law.
Yes, you're breaking federal law. You're violating the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. You can't do it.
Okay, and that's what you, and I understand that, and 2 lawyers look at the same sentence and they both get something different.
I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not either. That's-
The Illinois Department of
that's-
Revenue says that it's against their rules. So you even admitted it in the letter to Senator Ryder and into
Me? I didn't
the
know
letter
that.
that the board crafted. Mr. Chairman, you know the letter I'm talking about. I can produce it if you
We
want.
asked them to review it, yes.
But you also said in there, you explicitly stated in the letter that the Illinois Department of Revenue, in their publication, says that you can't not do that. It's in the
Right after
letter.
they tell us we can. That's-
No, they told you you could divide into districts. They didn't tell you you could have inequity in the tax application. You're wrong there. And that's why we're going to federal court.
And Roy Tech.
Mine is a little bit different from Mr. Donasso's. I'm still harping back on, I'm a little bit confused on Mr. Becker. I thought that, and maybe I'm wrong, that you had to be completely vetted and completely done with all of your training before you could do an assessment, before you were an attorney, or before you could do any of that stuff. And my understanding is that Mr. Becker had not completed his training before he was hired by, I believe, Mrs. Biddle, you,
Yes.
last year. So,
He has had all of his training
When?
and is licensed as a commercial appraiser.
when did that?
All of
that
that, I
was-
don't know, that is outside the county. The,
It was not done when he started. Correct, exactly. So my whole thing is that I'm certainly not the brainiac in the room. But even I know that if Joe Blow moved here from southern Illinois, from wherever, and said, oh, I'm gonna hang my shingle out, and I'm gonna do all these cases, and all of a sudden, someone starts investigating me, and bang, I don't even have a law degree. Something tells me that all those cases would be thrown out, because I didn't have the degree I said I did. And what?
He had his commercial appraiser's license, he didn't have what,
Exactly.
he didn't
He
have.
didn't have that.
He had his commercial appraiser's license, though, you're saying he didn't have an
We're not
appraiser, he had his
arguing that.
commercial,
He
We're not
didn't-
arguing that.
well, that's what she's saying.
No,
though.
no, she's not. What she's saying is
I
he
want to
didn't
just
finalize.
clarify,
That's
just
what she's
clarify.
saying.
He didn't finalize
Right.
coursework that
He
he
didn't
said he
finalize
was
that.
doing with
I'm not
you.
disagreeing with that, I
That's
just
the
want to
one
make
I'm
sure he did
talking
have
about.
commercial real estate,
That's
he did
the
have
one
the
I'm
classes
talking
that he
about.
said in his bid proposal, whatever you want. Oh, right. I just want to clarify.
I'm just confused by that, and I was also under the impression, I'm probably wrong, but he was using a computer program.
yes,
Is that
it's
correct?
our camera system, computer assisted mass appraisal, and it's built into our software.
Is it the county software?
The software in my office is used for valuing real estate.
So did the county buy that software?
Yes, we're licensed to use it, yes.
So the county bought that software,
We pay a fee to use it every year.
but he didn't buy it, so he's not paying a fee to
It's
use
used by our office.
it. Pardon me?
It's used by our office, and he works in our office when he's using that.
Okay. Do you know how that software works?
You have to enter all of the property attributes, sketch the property. It prices from tables that are built into the CAMA software.
May I ask a question?
Well,
It's kind of
Mr.
about the
Whittaker, are you-
software.
are you-
Well, it's kind of about the software.
I'm
Just a
just
minute.
confused by, if he didn't finish the course that he was supposed to finish for that, I don't understand how any of his, what he had already done in 2016 could be correct or valued at all. That's what I don't understand. Why would it not just be thrown out? I don't get that at all. And I also feel like the past several months, I feel like I'm 14 again, going to my mom and dad, and they're just gonna sit there and, okay, you can talk, we're not gonna tell you why. We're just telling you, no, you can't go out, or we'll talk about it, and that always means, no, you can't go out, you can't do that, you can't do that. Because I don't feel like we've gotten answers. Or I'm talking to our priest, and no, that's just the way it is in Vatican II, and it's still no. So I don't feel very good about it, for anybody.
Mr. Whittaker, anything?
I'd like to yield my time to James again, he did a fine job. You know?
Well, Rex was next on the list. Rex
Oh,
Gifford was
Rex.
next on the list, so.
Rex, you're up, buddy.
I don't have a lot, but the one thing I wanted to ask was, does the county actually have a code of conduct or ethics type thing out there, policy?
Yes.
Wes, yes?
Yes.
Where's it found?
It's available on the website or the handbook.
Eh,
know there's on the website, it's in the handbook.
I have a handbook, we have a handbook that I can.
You have a handbook, so
That's the public.
I actually just want to bring up the topic that James brought up earlier, was that, you know, the last board meeting, you know, whenever we had Mr. Metzger, Mr. Bauer, and Mrs. Biddle state that Mr. Becker was a seasonal part-time employee. And we actually have facts to prove that he is not. So do you, those of you sitting in the chairs, agree with what they're doing? I would like to ask each and every one of you to say yes or no. Ma'am?
Agree to what? What's your exact question?
Is it okay for the people, Mr. Metzger, Mr. Bauer, Mrs. Biddle, to lie to the public?
I don't know that they are lying.
What proof do we need to show you
I think you are splitting hairs over a vocabulary word of employment.
There's a
No, we got it
difference.
on video from last meeting, there's no split.
They admitted he was a seasonal part-time employee.
He's a contract employee, in my
No.
understanding. So that's not the same thing as a full-time employee.
He's got a 1099 I just showed you, non-employee compensation. What more do you need? Are you an employer? Do you employ
And a
people?
1099.
Do you know the difference between a
If
W-2 and a 1099?
It would be, he's a contract employee, to my
As
understanding.
I indicated last meeting to, I think, Mr. Allen, when he asked, I believe he asked about the 1099 or someone else did, I indicated factors of employment or independent contractor basis. One is a 1099 as evidence of independent contractor. Others are direction and control by the person, which would be Ms. Biddle. One is working at the location. One is whose tools are being used. It is a question of fact. There's no question that Mr. Becker is an agent of the county of Polk. An employee or independent contractor, both are agents, but an employee or independent contractor ultimately is a question of fact. It is not a bright line test.
You're employed by the county, you submit a
I'm
bid?
I'm
You're not
employed by the
employed?
state.
Oh, the
I'm
state,
a
okay. Who
constitutional-
here is employed by the county? Raise your hand. How many times do you, Ms. Bill, do you submit bids to the county board to get paid every week, or month, or bi-monthly, or whenever it is?
Invoices.
You invoice the county?
Oh, to get paid?
Yes.
Every department submits a payroll request.
I'm not, I said, that's not what I asked. I'm not asking a payroll request. You're obviously not an employer, so, I'm telling you right now, you guys know he's a contractor. You even, Mr. Metzger even slip of the lip at the end of the last meeting, said that's why we contracted him for 4 years. He said it, it's on tape. Go back and look at it. Coles County Board meeting on YouTube. I think it's video number 3.
Charles Stodden.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to say something. I think it's good that we have a nice discussion like this from time to time. I know it's a little bit, on my side here, some of my friends have gotten a little rowdy. And I cautioned them, I said, you know, we all gotta live together and we need to respect those that are ruling over us. I would like to say that we went to Springfield and they showed us copies that all of these assessments were certified all the way up through the years. So I have a question in my mind, if they were certified, and I think that was up to 2015 or 16, it was
Yeah. 2015. Every year stamped and certified by this county.
Why are they wrong if they're certified?
Values were correct every year.
Certified,
You know, every year you
certified
send,
that they were correct.
you
Yeah, they
certify,
certified them that they was correct, that's right.
you
That's how it
certify
was.
those taxes every year when they're sent in to the Department of Revenue. They're stamped. And there's an oath that's taken that those taxes are true and correct. Am I right or am I wrong? So if you did that for the 16 years that you said no assessments happened, what are you saying about the taxes in when you stamp by oath, by your word that they're certified and they're correct and true to the best of your knowledge? You're saying that the taxes are okay. Are you not? So let's stop the jingle about these taxes haven't been reassessed for 16 years. Because you in your own mind, and everybody else that signs the paperwork, just the Department of Revenue, stamped it and certified with an oath that they're right. And that's what he's talking about. Point taken?
It hasn't been reassessed for 16 years.
Certified each and every year.
You've already said that they are.
Guys,
Hold it,
guys,
Corey.
no,
Every
no,
year
no,
you
no.
said they're okay.
Wait, okay. Settle down. I understand that. It's certified every year because that's the number she has. But for 16 years, the counties didn't do their job. And I'm not for any more tax. I get it. I know where
You're
you're
saying
coming from.
they're
but
okay. Hold it, Corey. Yeah, you stamped it.
Hey, you want us to talk?
Mr. Sanders is speaking, now be your turn.
You said the counties or the counties?
The township, okay, county boards. We weren't there. I wasn't there 16 years ago.
No, I'm neither.
I was 12 years old. Just close. I wasn't there. I get it. I understand to hit somebody in 1 year. That's why at the beginning, if you were here, I tried to get it reverted back. I tried to wait and not hit everybody all at one time. We tried to split it up over all these things we were told we couldn't do. Right or wrong, I'm an attorney. That's what they told us we couldn't do. It hasn't been done, just because we stamped something, because that's the only value she had at the time, doesn't mean we don't go reassess things. That means if I buy a property today for $30,000 in foreclosure, and I fix it up and now it's worth $100,000, I shouldn't get taxed on $100,000 because she stamped something for the last 3 years? That don't even make sense. No, wait, let me finish.
I
So,
get your point, you get mine.
I get your point, but we can't fix what was done the last 16 years. There's nobody on this county board that is trying to screw anybody, we all work here, we live here, I have businesses here. I get it, I had one go up $250,000, I understand. But the point is, it has to get right. So now, stay on task. Mr. Donato, I agree with what you're saying on hitting one over the other. Maybe that's right, I don't know, but we're being told that we can't do anything beyond what we're doing. So you
Okay,
can be mad.
Mr. Stodden, you got the floor.
Okay, well, I'd just like to remind us, here's a little bit of theology here. I come to know these things over the years. The mediator between man and God is who? Who can tell me?
Jesus.
That's correct. Who said that? Right.
It's the one thing we all agree on, right?
Okay. The mediator between man and man is what?
Wife.
Well, I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna hash this out in a court of law shortly, and I just want you to know that I consider you friends. Not just that.
Thank you, Mr. Stodden. Mike Roytek,
I'd like to give my time to either Rob or James.
John Kraft.
Good evening. I appreciate the dialogue back and forth. We don't usually see this when we go to public bodies. But I want to hit on the contract or the employee part. There's two things that you guys need to be aware of, and you could stop that at the next meeting by putting it on the agenda. You can stop the whole ball from rolling and pull it right by. You have no authority, she has no authority, the assessor, to contract for assessments to do her job. Spell that in statute. That's why everybody's saying he's not a contractor. That authority does not exist. You've said it tonight several times that the county board does not have authority to hire an employee for her. It's her job. I would say, look at the county code. The county has to advise and consent to any employee that the supervisor of assessment hires. That's a duty of the county.
Revenue code.
Without that advice and consent, that person can't work for the supervisor of assessments. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? The county board provided no advice and consent for him to be an employee or a deputy of the supervisor of assessments. Any advice and consent would have had to have been an action, and it had to have been in a meeting. There never was one. And along with that advice and consent, the county board has to set that person's salary, whoever she employs, whether it be Mr. Becker or me. I'm sure nobody will hire me right now, but the point is, that's three things: advise, consent, set the salary. That's the county board's job. So you do have power over who she hires, aside from her budget. You can refuse to get consent from the outset. Say, no, I don't want you hired, Mr. Kraft. So read the county's code, please, or the revenue code. She can't hire a contractor. The county board has to advise, consent to and set the salary for an employee. None of that was done. You can simply put that on the next agenda. Say, hey, he doesn't was hired properly, get rid of all of the assessments. He was never legally an employee or a contractor or an agent of the county. Thank you.
Drop period.
There again,
Excuse me,
there's
Rob Perry, sorry,
pardon me?
Rob Perry, I
Close your out.
There's another reason, there's another technicality he just gave you.
That's not a technicality.
That's not.
It is law though, right?
Yes.
Law. So you can do the lawful thing. How about that? Okay? I've been coming since January here. And I've said some things I'm probably sorry for. And I'm kind of like Charlie. There's people in this room I do really like, and some of them I don't know well enough to say that I like them, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? A couple of things. In January when we started, this all starts out wrong. I'm going to paint the picture for you as quick as I can to make it sensible for just a normal person to understand. First thing that happens in the end of November, I get this thing in the mail, and I'm a little bit more versed on seeing notice from the tax assessor's office because I've been involved for a few years on the board of review level. So I understood. But most of the people that you sent these notices to, and Karen, I'm not trying to pick on you, but a lot of people don't even know what those notices mean when they come in the mail because they're not self-explanatory. There's too many numbers on them, and there's nothing there that says, if you don't understand, call the courthouse and talk to the tax assessor. It's not there. It's not there. And there wasn't anything in the paper. You didn't put anything out to where saying, people, you're going to get notices, and when you get the notices, if you don't understand, we'd advise you to call it over to the tax assessor's office. You didn't do that.
Mr. Perry, on day one, when we started this,
Hold it. I've got the floor. You hush, please. All I'm trying to say is it would have been nice if the folks would have been a little bit more warned of what was coming, especially in the December part of the Christmas time and all the things. It wasn't a good time to do it. So most people didn't do anything. So after January comes February, or December, I'm ahead of myself. December meeting, I came to that one. And then we formulated a group and went to the Department of Revenue in January. And we were on a mission to try to find out just exactly what's going on, because what came out of the meeting was we had this statute that we had to hurdle, either get over the hurdle and understand, because the county board kept saying, we can't do anything, there's this statute, and that's the way it is. We all pile in the car, go to the Department of Revenue. I remember the day, the guys are here with me, got there, went into the meeting, asked them about this statute. And I said, they're telling us at the county board level that they can't do anything because you, the Department of Revenue, says this statute's got to be reinforced. And there's nothing they can do. The woman at the Department of Revenue just rolled her eyes and says, no, that's a county problem. You'll have to take that up with the county. This is the lady that runs the Department of Revenue, okay? I'm not making this up. I'm telling you just exactly what we were told. So we come back and we start doing all of our discovery. And let me tell you folks, I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to take anybody down.